Welcome to Home Team Advantage. I'm Gary Gimbetti along with Mike Egan, and we have some stuff to talk about today. Should we just start with the,
We got 28 minutes.
yeah, so we get to bore you for 28 minutes with our absolute non-knowledge of sports. So,
And he writes for the paper.
yeah. Well, I didn't say I was qualified to write for the paper, but
Well, you've been there for 28 years.
well, I know. And actually, it's over 30, so.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine that. That's half my age. So I've
Wow.
spent half my life at the Hibbing Daily Tribune and the Mesabi Tribune.
Stories you could tell.
Oh, definitely. But we had a football game, high school game last night. Hibbing played Aitken at the new Dr. Ben Owen Stadium in Cheever Field. And we've talked about it, I mean, for half the summer
Yep.
already.
Well, finally came to tuition last night.
Yes, tuition.
Beautiful. Yep.
Tuition.
Tuition, whatever it is.
Fruition. What did you think? Did you like the field?
Better than the game. I hate to say that. So
I
it's really nice. They had a great turnout. The stands were full with fans. A lot of high school kids were there, a lot of students, and just a beautiful field. I mean, once those lights came on, it kind of like the Friday night lights. This is, and now hopefully they can turn the program around and take advantage of that field. But yeah, really, really nice. So.
Well, and it's unfortunate that a visiting team had to get the first win on it. So
Yeah.
that's a little disappointing, obviously, and not just to us, but obviously to the coaching staff and the players. But yeah, no, it was everything I thought it was going to be when when I first walked out there, and after the game, I walked out and stood at the 50-yard line right in the middle of the anchor, and it was kind of surreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so beautiful. I mean, people are going to complain about the color of it, but I don't know.
What's wrong with the color? Is
Well,
it navy?
they
Isn't our school color?
Well, we'll speak about that after the show because I'm not going to bring that up on the air. But
Gee, it's really sad that you got to have a field that's your team color, and it's the only one on northeastern Minnesota that has that. It give you that little distinction, and now we're going to complain that it's not green.
it's not green or it's not a different color,
Yeah.
which I'll tell you after the show again.
Okay.
But because I'm not going to put people in, I'm not going to
Harm's way.
or whatever. But
Where's John Wayne when you need him?
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I know we've had a lot of seniors hurt, but sometimes you just, I guess it's not that the program is I don't think that bad, but it's just that there's no depth
Right.
there right now, and you need depth at every position. So if somebody gets hurt,
Well, I've said this on past shows. Until every athlete at that school decides they want to participate and help all the programs, not just one, not just centralize all your energy into one sport, you're going to have a problem with numbers. And there's other kids that are playing one sport that should be playing two or three. There's just not enough kids in that school to, and maybe if we only had, everybody says how great Cherry is, and Cherry has two programs, football and volleyball.
basketball. Yeah, okay, in this fall football.
Winter it's basketball and
That's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
And then spring it's baseball
And softball.
and
Yeah.
softball. So it's not like there's a lot of variety over there for the different ones they have, and last night you look in the stands and there's quite a few kids that you see up there should be on that field. So and I've always said that the football team sets the parameters for how the school year is going to go. So it's just. But it was great to see all the kids out. It was great to see the fans out there last night. Granted, 90% probably came to see the field and how it looks lit up, but hats off again to the players, because yeah, they got beat, but they didn't give up. That I could see. So,
Yeah, they're always there. There's no debating that they're playing hard,
right.
and but there's just what's lacking. I don't know. I mean, it's like tackling
Right.
is lacking
Yep.
right now, and that they have to fix that, obviously. Which with one game left, I don't know if you can do that, but it's not like they didn't have opportunities to stop Aiken in its tracks last night, but they missed tackles, or they tackle high and
Yeah,
they bounce off, and
then the Aiken kid would hurdle the tackler, and that would never called. The wide receiver for Aiken would push the defensive back down and score a touchdown, and that wasn't called.
Yeah.
It was reminiscent of the old Vikings Dallas game. I was waiting for the beer bottle to come out and hit Babe in the head.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and obviously that certainly wouldn't have
Made a
determined
difference.
the outcome of the
Right.
game, but it's common sense officiating, I guess. I mean, just to say he wouldn't have, oh man,
Wow.
to
Getting all
say he
choked up
wouldn't,
here.
yeah, to say he wouldn't have made the tackle anyway is not the right thing for
Right. You got to go
a
with the rule.
referee to
Yeah.
say. I mean, if
Rules
that's what,
are-
if
rules
that's
are
what-
rule.
If that's what you heard, I mean
Yep.
that's obviously not the way to go.
Yep.
And then the call, the other one was, and I'm not getting on these guys. I mean, we're lucky we have officials. I
Yep.
mean, because they're, but to call a holding call when a team is down 42-0. I mean, Babe's the one who told me about common sense officiating.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, you can't blame the officials for
No.
the loss. You can't blame the other team for running up the score. I mean, you can't tell them to stop playing. So,
No, it's not against the rules for the other team to stop the other team.
right.
So you have to at some point.
Yeah.
You know, and we had that ball. We recovered that fumble on the punt. The punt returner muffed the ball, and
Yep.
we recovered, and then we got the ball, I think, inside the 15. But then we fumbled it away.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I mean, so their opportunity to score was there, but you gotta. He wants them to set a tone, and the only way to set a tone is to drive that ball down. The first possession you get it, drive it down, blow the other team off the line of scrimmage, and take care of business. But we're just not doing that right now.
Well, they have one game left. They go to ESCO.
We're assuming it's
Assuming
ESCO, yeah, because
I heard
it's-
last night that it's supposed to be ESCO.
all right.
So,
And ESCO just got done beating Duluth East last night, like 52-0.
well, they beat Hibbing.
So I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that's a we were laughing out in our production meeting,
Yeah.
that ESCO's a 3A team and
Beating a
East is
5A
like a
team.
5A team. So it's like, okay.
But again, there's a program year after year that's been successful, and that's, I think, what Coach Howard and his staff is trying to build here is a consistency as far as winning. And I don't know if we have time, but a great point came up last night. We were talking to some of the coaches, and you can't take your 8th and 9th grade players and bring them up to play varsity, because then they get that taste of losing. Let them play 8th and 9th grade football. They get that taste of how it feels to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then that carries on as you move up the ladder and move into the varsity sports. So I think that's something that the program has to take a look at. And I think you're going to see the same thing with basketball this year. There's some younger players, but let them play where they belong and learn how to win, and then let that come up. And so that's my 2 cents.
No, that you're not wrong there, because you don't want that
Losing atmosphere.
losing atmosphere around
Yep.
some younger kids when they can succeed at
Right.
their grade level.
Well, you had the was it the Pee Wee? Was it Pee Wee A team that won the state?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good group of young hockey players that are coming up, and but let them play through the Bantam program and your JV program, and then once they get into varsity, they'll have that winning attitude that, they can beat people and they can have a good program, so.
No, you're 100% correct on that. Cross country, they were at the Proctor Lions invite the other night, and the Hibbing girls Duluth East actually dominated the meet, but they're out of this world as far as runners go. But Hibbing was second behind them, and beat out North Shore and Proctor, which are two teams
In their division.
in their section. So they continue that. Now Rock Ridge wasn't there, and that'll be another team. They'll throw a wrench into that pile once the section comes around, which I think is next week
Okay.
already, and it'll be at the Hibbing Municipal Golf Course. So you want to come and watch?
Home team advantage.
Yeah, it is, and so hopefully hopefully they can repeat as Section 7 AA champions and head down to the state again. Melina Sullivan. Now, see, when I got the results, I got them separated into Class A, Class AA, and Class AAA. And if you put her in the Class AA race, Melina Sullivan won that race. But actually, I think probably some Duluth East, she might have placed second or third overall with everybody running. So, hey, come out and watch them, because they're something to see.
Yeah.
Coach Mr. Please has them running very well, and I don't think they're taking anything for granted.
Good.
So
And they're at home.
they're at home. The boys have an outside shot. The top two teams in the section go to the state, and Rock Ridge will be one of them because they're good.
Yep.
I mean, they have the top runner in the area, probably, maybe you could say in the state. But if they can outpoint Grand Rapids, there's no reason why they can't advance the state, and they've got 3 or 4 or 5 runners that are running in the low 18s. So, I mean, but to be elite, I mean, you got to be in the 16s or almost close to 15 and 15-30 or a bit above that. But
What do you run it at?
2 days.
I was going to say it's
They'd have to clock me with a
that
calendar.
before or after you had CPR.
Yeah, probably after. So so it's like, no, I hope those boys, and that's what Coach Please is trying to get across to them, is I hope they understand the opportunity they have, because they've been in the shadow for the girls for now the last couple of years, and now they can finally maybe step out from that shadow and actually go to state. We're looking at tennis. Abigail Sullivan and Claire Rewerts were knocked out. They got beat in the semifinals by an Elk River team. Then they went for third place against the Rock Ridge doubles team, and they got beat by them. But had they won that, they wouldn't have had a chance for a true team, or for true second.
Okay.
I mean, so so their season's done. Soccer, as we talked about last week, they're both done. Swimming they have a conference. They have their Lake Superior conference meet coming up next week, I believe, and then maybe in a couple weeks they'll have their section meet. They were 4th at the True Team meet, behind Rapids, Rock Ridge, and Mesabi East. And it's just depth there, and I don't mean depth of the water. I mean just depth of swimmers. His top 5 or 6 or 7 swimmers are very good, but it's the ones underneath there that have to kind of pick up the pace, and he might be better in the Section 7 swimming scenario than he is in a true team, because and only the top 16 score at the real section meet, and if you can get 4 in each, if you can get 4 in each event, then you have a pretty good chance.
Okay.
But Grand Rapids will probably dominate that one, I would imagine.
Well, we'll see.
So that
He always seems to pull the rabbit out of his hat when it comes to that.
they whether or not he wins, it doesn't matter to him. I mean, does he like winning? Yeah, but that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is for the kids to perform better,
Right.
and get to state. I mean, it's an individual sport inside a team sport, so that takes care of that, I believe.
And winter sports will be starting in a few weeks.
Girls hockey must start I'm thinking if it's not next week, it's the week
Yeah.
after, because it's the last week of October next week, isn't it? Yeah, and they're usually starting either then or that first week in November. So
Well, I'm sure
girls,
they'll have the ice on the Memorial Building be well, pretty well.
they're putting it in now. I
Putting
think
it now because
this
they're gonna,
week.
yeah, they've got
Or
a,
no, next week they're going to start putting
yeah,
it in.
because they got a deal where they'll have an open skate for people that want to come skate from what 11:30 to 1 or something like that. So
Yeah, I finally got our first arena schedule to put in the paper, and yeah, I believe
I think there's a Bantam tournament next weekend.
there's
For Pee Wee.
scrimmages. I
Yep.
know Bantam A's and Pee Wee A's,
Yep.
I think. So that'll be getting underway, which is good. I like being busy, so I'd rather not have that lull in between.
Right.
But pretty soon, it's unbelievable how fast it seems like it's going. But as you get older, everything seems to move
Yep.
faster. So that takes care of that. Let's talk
Well,
about.
Anything going on at HCC up north or up north college or whatever it's called now?
Minnesota North, Hibbing. No, men's basketball doesn't start, and I think he told me in November they have their
Okay.
first game. There will not be a women's program there
Correct.
this year, so that's unfortunate. I think we talked about it
Yep.
last week that they don't want to come out and play, and I don't understand why they don't want to give up another. I mean, if I had the opportunity to play 2 more years, I'd certainly take it.
And
But-
don't some players have the opportunity? Can't you get like a scholarship?
Oh, you can move on to a 4-year school after
Yeah.
it if you're, certainly, as long as the coach is pushing for you.
Right.
And, you're talented enough. So, so it's unfortunate that'll be one game weekends or nights. And I wanted to see, I like watching basketball. So it's like, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's all you can say.
Well, I guess we'll segue into the Timberwolves and since you mentioned basketball and how much you like to watch the NBA.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to watch it last night because I was obviously at the football game. So I'll watch. I recorded it and I'll watch it today. But
You don't want to know the score?
I know they won. So that's the only reason why I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how long do you think it's going to take them to get acquainted with one another?
Yeah, I really don't think it's going to take that long, and I think the strongest point that the Timberwolves have is going to be their bench. Yeah, they made some good off-season free agent acquisitions, and I think they're going to do well this year. And unfortunately, I don't like watching the NBA, and there's one reason why I don't like to watch the NBA. But I'll watch the Timberwolves. They look to be a little exciting because now it looks like my Wild are not going to be the team I thought they were going to be. So.
Well, Rudy Gobert had his season
Debut
with us, and he scored 23
23,
points, I
yeah.
want to say, and had grabbed a few rebounds. Now, I heard Towns and Edwards weren't much of a factor, but again, that's not going to be the
No.
case most of the year. They're going to have their
It's Rudy Gobert standing next to the Cat, and he's about 6 inches taller than him. Plus, he's bigger.
yeah.
So now I know why if you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah.
Bring him on your team because he's one guy that the Cat could never have much success against was Gobert, but he stands right down. He reminds me of the older, like the Wilt and some of those older players that could stand in the paint there and just intimidate people. You come in, you drive in there, and his wingspan must be 8 feet too. So
And I heard on an interview last night in the pregame show I shot. One of the guys said it doesn't matter if he blocks your shot, he alters your shot.
right,
So you go into the lane with Gobert in there, and you're not going to be shooting. Hopefully they rebound better because I think that caught him last year against the Grizzlies in the playoffs. Was the offensive boards Memphis pulled down. So
but Cat's got to stop the whining.
Well,
Last night it's just whiny, and I didn't get the call. Just play the game.
yeah, he's got to quit that because he'll never get a call otherwise. But yeah, it's so hopefully I mean, they should. The talk is they should start like almost 5-0 or 6-0 or 7-1 or 7-0 because their schedule's pretty light at the beginning.
Well, those other guys on ESPN, the ones that copy us, they pick them to end up 5th in the Western Division.
Huh?
So
Well, that's an improvement from last year. They're not in that play-in game. So that's good. I hope it comes true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some. That West is pretty tough though.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough division, but hey, if you want to be with the big boys, you got to play the big boys. So
Yeah.
Plus, they had a good fourth quarter.
Well,
Plus they
yeah,
had a
they didn't
good
get.
fourth
Yeah,
quarter.
they didn't give the game away in the fourth quarter.
yeah,
Yeah. No, you talked about your Wild. 20 goals in 3 games. What's with your goaltenders?
well, they got booed. Marc Fleury.
I know they're not your goaltenders,
He got
but
booed the other night by the home fans, so they asked him afterwards, and I got to work on this, I got to work on that, and you got to work on stopping the puck from going in the net.
well, he said he'd boo himself if he
Yeah.
was coming off the ice. So at least he's honest
Yeah,
about that. He's not playing well. And then the goal, the Philippe Gustafson kid who they got in the Cam Talbot trade, let in a couple soft goals the other night and against Colorado, and it's
it's a long season.
it's hard to hear that. Well, we played well enough to win that game, but then you lost 6-3.
Yeah.
Now I know one of the goals was an empty net goal, I believe, which is I don't think that gets counted against the goalie, but no, you didn't play well enough to win because 3 goals should be enough to win a game, and you got beat.
Yeah, well, then the Kings come to town, and who's playing with the Kings now? He's playing with the Wild,
Fiala.
and they have a great game, and they're supposed to be a down team this year,
Mhm.
and they beat him pretty bad. So, but again, it's a long season. You never know what's going to happen, and unless they shore up the defense, they're going to have problems.
Well, they had a 4-game homestand, and now they're going to go after this game tonight against Vancouver. They go out on the road for 5 games.
It could be 0-10.
They could be 0-9 or whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
So I mean, it's kind of scary.
Well, considering last year they started out so well at the beginning of the year and then fell apart towards the end. So, but even when they played Colorado, they're just not in the same boat Colorado was. They're an unbelievable team.
Well, they must have all played them for some of that game the other night because they said that Evison said that was one of the best. That's the best game we played of the 3.
But did they win?
Well, of course not,
Yeah. So,
because you give up 6 goals.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. It's
it'll be a tough one.
tough
Tough season coming up.
when we had Pat Micheletti on, I should have just came out and said I think they kept the wrong goaltender.
That could be.
I honestly do. I think Fleury's going to be great, or was great. He was going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's won Stanley Cups, but he's 38 years old, going to be 39. He's at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Face it. I mean, I don't know how many goalies play into their 40s.
Tom Brady.
Well, that's but
Well,
that's
that's
football.
football. No.
Yeah, you can do that in football, evidently. Yeah, but now he's not.
They're losing too.
Yeah, he's not doing so well now either.
Oh, there's our segue into the Vikings then.
And he's getting supposedly divorced, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess. Depends what you read.
Well, okay, so you can't trust
Yeah.
everything
You read
you
the
hear.
Inquirer. There's a lot about it.
So, Tom, if you happen to hear this, I apologize if that's not happening. But
Yeah, when you're down there in Tampa, just give us a call.
yeah, we'll have you on the show.
Yep.
So
But anyways, Minnesota Vikings 4-1. Got a bye this week, so that's a win.
actually, they're 5-1.
Or 5-1.
I believe.
No, 4-1.
Huh? I think they played 6 games. So I believe they're 5-1 because Green Bay's 3-3. Yeah, I can't spit it out because it's Green Bay. They're 3-3, and we're 2 games up on them.
Yeah,
So we are 5-1.
maybe they are 5-1.
So, again, last year they lost games
At the end.
like they're winning this year.
Yeah.
So things are turning around,
Let's hope so.
and you hear it a million times. You don't apologize for wins in the NFL.
No.
When you get them, you get them. It doesn't matter how or what you do to get
Yep.
them. And they're learning. Harrison Smith said it, and I hate to agree with him, but we're winning and we're still learning.
Right.
So they are learning a new system. Now, I'm not saying that it's rocket science. It's football plays. I mean, how many different?
X and O's.
Yeah, I mean, how many different? Every team uses the same plays, don't they?
Pretty much. And then it comes down to personnel. Now you got me doing it.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to personnel and who you have on the team. So.
Well, the defense kind of played a little better. They got a little more pressure last week on Teddy. And
Teddy still threw for over 300 yards.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they're giving up big chunks of yardage, and we're still winning. So and the offense has not scored a touchdown in the third quarter this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've scored points in the third quarter, maybe a couple field goals.
But again, there's 2 or 3 games this year where they looked just unbeatable in the first half. They come out in the second half, and it's like, is this the same team I'm watching now that was on earlier? They just, I don't know what it. Maybe they drank the wrong Gatorade at halftime. I don't know.
Hey, we got something wrong with our voices today. So
Yeah,
it's because we're fired up and we're talking and
yelling at the high school game last night.
boring you to death, I'm sure, but that's okay.
Hey, come on now, let's give some credit where credit is due. We haven't been canceled yet.
No, we haven't.
Yeah,
I don't know. Can HPAT pull the plug?
on us?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No, we're the only has a sponsor, even though our sponsor's
No,
not here
I
yet
didn't
today.
have a sponsor
Our
today.
Caribou Coffee sponsorship. But,
No.
hey,
no.
we've been on for how many years now?
At least 12.
12. It's been, could be 12 for me because I did this before.
Yeah, you needed an upgrade in partners evidently, and that
yeah.
was the upgrade over Tinter and Beckers.
and a green screen. We can show whatever we want. By the way, we're at the football field today.
Yes. So if you haven't been, well, yeah, you won't get to see it now.
Hey,
till
we're
next
number
year.
1 up at the nursing home.
Well, hopefully we still are.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. I was at the dentist today earlier, getting the old choppers cleaned.
Really?
Yeah.
I just send mine in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just mail them in, mail them back when you're done cleaning them.
You're lucky then.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through all that stuff. But no, I have a very good dentist and a very good hygienist, and I'm not going to say who they are, but I want to give them a plug.
Well, you have to say who they
No,
are.
I don't want to say
What is
who
it,
they
good?
are.
You want the people to guess who's working on your teeth?
Well, okay, it's Kaylee Mikich and Dr. Mike Enich.
Oh, there you go.
So they do a great job.
Yeah.
And happy and
Mike
clean.
does a good job. So, and Dad before him.
Yep.
So,
That's where I was.
well, Mike, now you got to start watching us. Hey, if you want to put somebody else, instead of give them gas, just have them watch our show.
That'll put them to sleep.
That'll put them to sleep.
But
What's
again,
more painful, watching us or getting drilled?
But again, we're coming to the end of our show. From Mike Egan, I'm Gary Gibetti, and we'll see you again next week.
Hibbing Public Access Television would like to thank U.S. Bank for providing us with studio space.